All right, I think we're good. So 2.4, it's all about real zeros of polynomials, and like I said, we're going to start with dividing. All right, so long division, we'll start with that. So let's say I've got 3x to the third plus 5x squared plus 8x plus 7. And I want to divide from that 3x plus 2. Okay, so I've got a polynomial in standard form. I want to divide another one in standard form. Okay, so to do that, we're going to set up a problem that looks just like a long division problem from when you were in like elementary school. So I'm going to have you practice with that real fast here. So let's say we've got 1,463 and we want to divide 12 into that. So we're going to refresh ourselves on this division. So over here we're going to do the elementary school long division. And then on the other side, we'll start working on the polynomial long division and kind of compare and contrast a little bit as we go. So let's see what you guys remember. So how do I start this problem then? I want to see how many times 12 goes into 1,463. Yes, sir?
See how many times it's going like 14.
Okay, so start with the first part of it. So technically, I mean, your brain has already skipped over this, but technically the first thing you would do is, how many times does 12 go into 1? Oh, can't do that. So how many times does 12 go into 14, right? So you're kind of going one digit at a time over. So how many times does 12 go into 14? One time. What do I do with that 1? Goes on the top. Good. All right. And then what's the next step after I have that 1 up there? Right. So we do this multiplication. 1 times 12 gets me 12, and then we do a subtraction of those numbers. 14 minus 12 is 2. Yep. Okay, then what? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Bring down the next number.
And in fact, we can technically bring down both of them. I'll do that just to be safe here. But yeah, I really only need the next digit. And then we go through that same process. How many times does 12 go into 2? Can't do that. Okay, how many times does 12 go into 26? 2 times. So 2 times 12, 24. Subtract those. I've got 2. Bring down the 3. How many times does 12 go into 23? 1 time. 1 times 12 is 12. 23 minus 12 is 11. So then we have a remainder of 11. Or you might have seen this written as the answer is 121 and 11 twelfths. Yeah. Okay. We'll do the long division with the polynomials kind of like this, where we'll turn it into a fraction at the end. Okay, so keep that process in the back of your mind here, because we're going to do kind of that same thing. So we're going to take 3x to the third plus 5x squared plus 8x plus 7. And we're going to divide 3x plus 2 into that. Okay, so process starts out the same. You ask yourself, how many times does 3x, and you start with the first term, just like you started with the first digit over here. How many times does 3x go into 3x to the third? Or, what might be a better question in this sense is, what do I multiply 3x by to get 3x to the third? Yeah. X squared. Okay. So I'm going to put an x squared on the top. However, since it's x squared, I'm going to put it in line with the x squared. Okay. What we're going to have here is we're going to have these like columns. And so anything that's x squared is going to be lined up with the x squared. Anything that's just x is going to be lined up with the x. Anything that's the constant is going to be in the end. So we can kind of keep some order that way to what we're doing here. Okay. But same thing like we did here to get the 1, though. We got this x squared. Now, what did we do with the 1 after we had it? Multiplied it through by the 12, right? So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to multiply the x squared through by this entire 3x plus 2. So it's going to be a little distributive property going around the bend here. So x squared times 3x to the third, x squared times 2 plus 2x squared. So that was doing that multiplication step around the side of it. Okay, think back to this one. What's the next thing we did? Subtracted. That's what I'm going to do here too. I'm going to subtract it. So this entire thing, I always put it in parentheses just so I don't forget to distribute. That whole thing gets subtracted. So down each column, subtract, subtract. 3x to the third minus 3x to the third. Gone, 0. 5x squared minus 2x squared. 3x squared. Okay, so that's the answer to my subtraction. What was the next thing that we did in the other one? Drop stuff down. Okay, I still got this 8x and this 7. So I'm going to drop each of those down. So now I've got plus 8x plus 7. And then repeat. Do the process again. What do I need to multiply 3x by to get 3x squared? Just x, right? So plus x on top then. Okay, multiply it through. 3x squared plus 2x. And then we're back to that subtraction step again, right? So take this, subtract it. These cancel. 8x minus 2x, 6x. Bring down that 7. And we got one more go at it here now. So what do I need to multiply 3x by to get 6x? 2. Plus 2. And multiply the 2 through all of it. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract that away. 6x is canceled. 7 minus 4 is 3. So notice every time I go through this process, the first term is gone. First term is gone. First term is gone, right? That's the whole point. We're trying to get rid of that first term each time to whittle this thing down to whatever the remainder is. In this case, the remainder is 3. Okay? So like in the other one, where we had a fraction, 11/12, we got that fraction by taking this number down here, 11, and dividing it by this, right? Because that was the part whole that was left. Well, here's our part. Here's our whole. So that's going to be the fraction. So our answer to this one will be x squared plus x plus 2 plus, oops, that should be 3x. 3 out of 3x plus 2. Looks like that. And we've used polynomial long division to get to that point. Okay, so I want you guys to do a couple of these long divisions on your own. I'll give you some time to practice them here. And then I'm going to show you how synthetic division works with this. Do you guys remember synthetic division from Algebra 2? Yeah, you get rid of all the variables and you just put the numbers in and go real fast. Yeah, so we're going to refresh that in a little bit. But I want you some practice. I want you to have some practice with the long division before we get to that point. So here are the two I'd like you to work on. Okay, so we'll get that one. Well, let's make this a 2. All right, and there's your second one. All right, so I'm going to leave those up there for a few minutes. I'm going to pause my recording and let you guys practice a little bit.